Jai Gurudev. Question: what is the utility of ashrams? What do you think about the different controversies which go around these centers? Do you think that if there are no centers, the proper publicity will be brought about? Answers: when a Guru family increases, there are broader arrangements to be made for the proper training and stay of the larger group of people. Some aspirants prefer staying with the Guru permanently, and some desire staying for a long time since they feel that the proper atmosphere for spiritual development is nowhere else. Further, there are persons who want to keep coming and going, for whom some lodging and boarding arrangements are necessary. The rules in the center are so framed that they bring about the required discipline for the spiritual upliftment of the residents. People tend to take all advantage of their home while living in the center of spiritual development. This is not the correct attitude of an ashramite. One has to observe total cleanliness, safeguard property, and should not get involved and indulge in disputes and the quarrels with other people. They should be very cautious and keen to attend the course most punctually. I want to emphasize here some more salient features of ashram life for the proper understanding of its aims. An ashram intends on providing the residents with the basic requirements alone. It is therefore up to the resident to see that if his necessities are more than average, he himself arrange for them. The basic difference between the atmosphere of an ashram and a house is that in an ashram, spiritual aspiration is the central objective of the inhabitant, whereas it is only one of many pursuits for a householder. The Guru may reside in the center sometimes, and it may be represented by someone duly authorized by him as well. There are also trusts and committees constituted by the Guru which control the working of the ashram under rules and regulations approved by the Guru. A Guru in his role should not have a possessive sense concerning the management of the ashram. He is simply the chief among the trustees to safeguard the property of God. A Guru is representative of God much in the sense that, like God, he does not discriminate among his disciples, and his primary concern is the betterment of his followers. He is like the Divine Father who brings up his children most lovingly but does not get attached and lost in involvements. The aspirants joining an ashram must understand that the lives they have been leading outside were totally different, and they need to pay much greater attention to the purification of Chitta by giving up vices like lust, anger, greed, pride, and ego. They should keep fair relations with all inhabitants of the ashram and with greater understanding and tolerance. An aspirant should make proper use of the articles of the ashram. He should cultivate the habit of minimum use of things in the ashram and remain prepared to sacrifice them for others. Habits such as to leave your room clean after your departure, to refund the ashram articles in time, and to keep the ashram books carefully so that they may be used and reused by others who are interested are some specific examples. There are persons who do not keep the books well and continue to pass them on unofficially to others. This is not proper. You should take care of your things very carefully. Not only this sense of belonging, but a greater sense of responsibility is needed here. When there is a frequent violation of the system in an ashram, the rules are tightened with the consequence that even the needy ones may have to suffer. It is natural that when a few persons live together, there may be some points of dispute among them. But when it is the case of an ashram, the disputes are immaterial and they should never be given undue significance. It is also quite immaterial whether or not the Guru goes to the ashram. The significance of his system or message to be communicated is in no way affected by it. It has been therefore observed that when there are disputes and controversies raised in an ashram, the Guru loses interest in it. The real aspirant is in no way at a loss by the absence of an ashram, but those who are the beginners and not quite advanced lose much when they do not have the proper atmosphere. Question: a woman is generally dependent on a man. She has to face a number of obstacles to join the spiritual course. Her house, husband, and society are her primary bondages from which she rarely gets freedom. What do you advise a woman in such circumstances? Do you propose that she should forget her house and husband and devote herself fully to the devotion of God, or struggle against the circumstances that may occur in her life? Answer: the life of a woman is full of sacrifice. What she basically needs is the training of her mind to perform her duties without involvements. She can virtually make her every breath full of glory once she understands that the two seemingly different courses of life can well be united. If she keeps on clinging to desires, she only accumulates the seed of future burden. It is like wasting invaluable riches for the thankless pursuits. The husband and wife relationship is the general scheme of life. The seeds of feminine nature are so strong in a woman that sometimes she is born and reborn only in the form of a woman for a number of lives. The same theory also applies to a man. There may sometimes be change in the form of such a person, but the basic character remains unchanged at the subtler level. When there are cases of change from human life to that of an animal, the masculine or feminine basic character, as the case may be, is maintained. A woman is Shakti in form. No one, not even the Almighty Lord, can really function once deprived of Shakti. She is the goddess in heaven and mistress in the home. But a woman without the spirit of surrender for her husband, who is representative of God for her, finds it difficult to rise to the status of goddess. If she cultivates the spirit of surrender in herself, all her actions will become burdenless because she performs them without the sense of doership. She brings up her children because they are the offsprings of her husband. Everything that pleases her husband is the choice of a real wife. The life of such a woman is full of sacrifice. It has been held in India that the wives share by half whatever good a man performs. It implies that a wife is always participating, not directly though, in the action of her husband. It is surprising to note that the participation of his wife has been restricted to the fruits of good only. Whatever evil is performed, the man has to suffer singly. In addition, the wife is always getting 100% of whatever good her own performances are. One question that is often asked is that if a woman has to worship and obey her husband just as if God is in her house, why does she need to select a guru? It is also worth consideration whether or not both the husband and wife should keep a common guru. In my opinion, a woman does need a guru in spite of her total devotion to her husband. A husband is in no case the substitute for a guru. The guru, on the other hand, increases the awareness of a wife to find godliness in her husband. He guides, controls, and takes the woman on the right path of self surrender. As regard the question of a common guru, there are a few persons claiming that the guru for both husband and wife should be different. They argue that the initiation by one guru makes the wife and husband guru brother and guru sister. I am not of this view. In my opinion, the relationship which the initiation brings about is spiritual and not physical or worldly. If we delve into the essence of things, no one is anybody's wife, husband, brother, or sister. These relations are only relative and not absolute. Furthermore, there are changes taking place with birth and rebirth. Then there is the situation of a father and son or mother and a daughter being initiated by one guru. There is no fear expressed in these cases that their relationship could be disturbed. I therefore hold that the wife and husband can well be initiated by one guru. This approach is more practical. If the two have different gurus to guide them, there may be differences of opinion which may lead to quarrels and the loss of peace in a family. A woman need not leave her house to devote herself to divine objectives. Although this applies to both men and women alike, it can be stated in more definite terms when it relates to women. Whenever a woman decides to leave her home, it is always at the cost of her duties. The path of spiritualism begins exactly where you stand. It is absolutely not necessary for either a husband or a wife to give up the other to get closer to God. The test of their ability is in their merging successfully among all these odds in life. If an aspirant only keeps waiting for some favorable time to come, he most likely will have to wait indefinitely. There are instances of persons who gave up their families when they were not ripe enough to do so. Naturally, there are repentance in such people and they consequently suffer a lot. A woman in particular has to be most careful while making a decision to lead the life of a solitude. She would be better off sticking to her home and continuing to purify her chit by performing selfless duties. Jai Gurudev.